And God said, "Let there be
The
light."
Lord says, "Let my people go."
I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
This is the Talkin Bible podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Thursday's episode of Talkin Bible with me, Rohan Bell. That's my name.
It is.
It is for those watching on YouTube. Hello, Shannon.
G'day. How you going, Rowan?
Good. We're talking today. We're spending a lot of time in the Sermon on the Mount, actually.
We are,
which is, a decent amount of text in the book of Matthew, especially. But today we're in the Sermon on the Mount and another reference in Luke. Just a few verses, but we'll probably give them some context as well.
We will, hopefully.
Yeah.
I love this one. This is good fun.
Yes. Oh, yes. This is a really misunderstood metaphor.
It is.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's going to help people.
Mm.
Sometimes Bible verses, people go, "Oh, I got nothing out of that."
Yeah.
And this one can really, I think, help free people and give people good perspective on their life.
Absolutely. I believe so. Yep. Especially in when we put in context. So do you want to read it in context? Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're ready.
Yes.
Our text today is Matthew 6:22-23, and then Luke 11:33-36. But you think it'd be helpful to put Matthew 6 in a bit of context.
Yeah, so we're going to read a little earlier on. So we'll start in 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So don't store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and vermin destroy them. Vermin. Ooh,
Vermin.
Yum. And where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be.
Mm.
Okay, so that's our context.
It's the context.
Okay.
Money, possessions, stuff, priorities, etc.
Yep, that's where your heart's going to be. Okay, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? With an exclamation mark.
Yes.
No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money.
All right. So if we take this scripture out of context, we could make it talk about anything.
We can make it talk about so much stuff.
We could. And it's not that the principle doesn't apply beyond the context. But first and foremost, Jesus is talking about money. He's talking about worldly possessions is the context. What you do and how you treat money. Like you said, you can't serve two masters. You're either going to serve God or money. You can't serve them both at the same time. So that's the context of this statement, that your eye is like the lamp of your body. Eyes and lamps, and good eyes and bad eyes and darkness. They're all interesting idioms, aren't they?
It is. And should we read Luke first as well before we get in? Let's knock Luke over.
Yes, because that actually helps too.
Yes.
Yeah.
No light on a lamp, and no one lights a lamp and puts it in a place where it will be hidden, or under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, so that those who come in may see the light. Your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are healthy, your whole body is full of light. But when they are unhealthy, your body is full of darkness. See to it, then, that the light within you is not darkness. Therefore, if your whole body is full of light, and no part of it is dark, it will be just full of light. And when a lamp shines its light on you. Okay, so I did try both times to say I.
Yeah, okay.
Because there is a point there where it says I singular.
Right, okay.
And then it says eyes.
Right. Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so what it's talking about at that point is we all have an eye of how we see the world.
Yes. You have an eye for that thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
we say
so... And
So it's an idiom, a
there's-
metaphor that's
There's
used.
two views. We have a good eye and a bad eye.
Yeah, and very much a Jewish idiom at the time.
Yes, and so we can see the world one way or another. We can see the world through a good lens, and so we're going to see the positive in the world. We're going to see the good in the world. We're going to see all the opportunities in the world. We're going to see the world God's made for its goodness.
Yep.
Or we're going to see the negative. We're going to
Absolutely.
be the negative. We're going to see what's wrong with the world. We're going to see how bad the world is. We're going to see the negative in everyone. We're going to see the bad situations.
Everything is through a negative lens.
Everything is through the negative
And
lens.
so we use a lens narrative today, which
Yes.
is linked to eyesight. It's what you see.
It's still the eye.
And we use the term worldview.
Yes, and
So,
we could
yeah.
use the worldview.
Yes.
And so they're the two eyes, the good eye and the bad eye.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're got the good eye, you're seeing everything from the good of God,
Yep.
or if you've got the bad eye, you're going to see everything that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's going to produce different lights in us.
Okay. So it's going to produce a different outworking. What comes
Yes.
out of us
What's
is
gonna-
dependent upon what we see going into us.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, we need to build onto that. We can't just leave it there. There's a whole heap of depth that needs to come into this still. Now, the healthy part, when our eyes are healthy, that's going to bring either generosity
Yep.
or I'll use the word stinginess.
Correct. Yep.
So when our eyes are healthy, we are more likely to be generous.
Yep. Which is tying back into the money stuff.
Which is tying back into the money stuff. So if I'm seeing all the opportunities, the positiveness, I'm more likely to be generous.
Good point.
But if I'm seeing all the negativity,
Oh, the world's dark.
And-
It's so against me. I need to keep for myself.
there's no opportunities
Yeah,
here.
that's
You know what? I'm just going to have to hold on to things.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't give to
It's
that.
actually a crippling way to live, isn't it?
It is. And so we get down and we withdraw and we withhold.
Yep.
And it's a dark place.
Yes. So, but we justify that as we don't realize that we have a bad eye.
No.
We don't realize always that we are seeing the world through this cynicism and critical spirit that Jesus is referring to here. This thing of, I need to keep for myself. It's interesting, isn't it interesting? I've never thought about this before, but sight is the word that is used time and time again. I've thought about this many times on the podcast, but I'm not linked it to this particular passage. Is the whole concept in the Old Testament, this metaphor that's picked up over and over again. The woman saw that the fruit looked good, even though it was actually going to do a harm. David saw Bathsheba. It says Abraham and Sarah saw Hagar and they took her. There's this whole concept of something looks good in our eyes, in our own eyes.
Yeah.
And we take it for ourselves and we convince ourselves it's a good thing. It'd be good to hang on to that thing. It would not be good to give that away. I need to keep that thing. It looks good for me. We justify it to ourselves. And it leads to the opposite of the kingdom life.
That's right. Now, there's also another link here.
Oh, it goes deeper.
It goes deeper.
Tell
and
me
it's
more.
all in these verses, even the verses after this. What then links into this, if you've got a good eye or a bad eye, is worry.
Yes.
If you have a bad
Yes.
eye and
it will end in worry.
it will always end in worry.
Yeah,
The
okay.
deeper part of this is worry. Because if you're seeing the negative in everything, it will always, it's going to end in worry. So if you're living in that
crippled.
generous, I don't want to use the word spirit, but that generous eye, I'll use the word generous eye, and you see the opportunities, you see that it's good, and you've got that good eye, and you're generous. That's never going to lead to worry.
No.
But if you're seeing everything from the bad eye, it's down, it's bad, there's not enough. There's, you can almost say the plentiful, abundant living to the not enough. you will end up in worry.
Yeah.
And so either worry is going to cause you to have a bad eye, or a bad eye is going to cause you to worry.
I would say it's a vicious cycle.
It is.
One feeds off the other.
One is going to give
and
you
it
the
spirals
other,
down.
or the other will give you the other
and
one.
It spirals down. Yeah,
And
good point.
A bad eye is never going to give you generosity.
No. And actually,
worry is never going to give you generosity.
No. And then the problem is it does spiral down. So let's assume we're stuck in this narrative. So let's look at this and go, okay, how do we get out of?
How do we get out of it?
What's the antidote to a bad eye? Well, first of all, maybe it's worth mentioning here that we often don't recognize we have a bad eye, because Jesus actually finishes this statement in both contexts by saying, if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how dark is that darkness?
How dark is the darkness?
That's the deception. When we convince ourselves that the thing that is actually bad for us is actually good. We convince ourselves, this is the right way to live. This is I have to live this way. It's the wise way to live an ungenerous life, because, there'll not be enough to go around.
There's not enough.
I don't have trust that there's enough in the world. I don't have and ultimately we feed ourselves that lie, and Jesus would say, you've convinced yourself that the darkness is light. Well, that actually makes the darkness double dark, because you don't realize it's light. So the fruit, I guess to reverse this, how do we know if our light is dark or not, how our eye is dark or not? I think the evidence is in how we live. Are we generous? Are we life-giving to others? So this can be generosity of money, but it can be generosity of spirit too. If we're always
time,
time, exactly. If we're always I'm keeping to myself and negative about everything, there's no sense of trust that there's enough. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden analogy. The devil made Eve focus and Adam focus on the one tree they couldn't have, and ignore all that they could have. God says you can have all of those trees.
Everything.
Exactly. So we end up doing the same thing. Oh, I can't have this. I can't have that. I've got to protect myself. And God's going, I've got the whole flipping garden for you. I've got it. Don't doubt. I'm the God of abundance. I'm the God, El Shaddai, the God of more than enough. And when we can feed ourselves that spirit, we can trust then that, hey, if I give this away, God's going to give it back to me. There's more life to go around. And there is, Proverbs says that there is one who scatters and there is one who plants and sows and yet receives more, and the one who withholds, the stingy, how's it go? The stingy withholds and gets less and less. I think the way the Message Bible puts it is, it says the world of the generous gets bigger and bigger, and the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. I love that thought, because isn't that life?
And that's what happens. And sometimes we can start off being generous, and before we sort of know it, just a few small little changes in life, and before we know it, we're down a really dark road.
Yep, we've given into fear.
Yeah.
God is holding out. God doesn't have enough. There won't be enough to go around. And that's the context of money here. Jesus is talking about this. We've got to go, no, our God is a good God. To use yesterday's analogy, our God wants to give us good gifts. He's not going to hold out on us. So that whole mindset, that worldview, to mix all that good eye is a much more free, liberating, peaceful, successful way to live life.
Yeah. And we sometimes just have to have that honest moment with ourselves and ask, where am I at? Truly, where am I at? Where is my heart really at?
Yep.
Is my eye good, or do I have that bad eye at the moment, and do I need to change?
Yep.
And how do I change? And do I need that moment of generosity?
Yep. Sometimes breaking the back, generosity breaks the back of fear. I say that all the time. One of the best ways to break the back of fear is to start tithing, start giving, start being generous, because you'll break the back of fear then.
Yep. And so we have to have a good eye. If we don't, we will worry. And if we worry, we won't be generous. And if we're not generous, we're going to judge other people.
Yep.
Because we are not going to want what they deserve.
Yeah. Yep.
What they deserve. Because we're going to look at other people, and instead of wanting what's best for them, we'll look at that and go, that should be what's best for us.
Yeah. That's right.
And generosity says, I want what's best for
them.
you.
And here's the irony of it is you live your fullest life by thinking, I want what's best for you. I often say it this way, even if you're to extract, let's bring it back to purely a sociological level. I'm not saying it isn't, because there is a supernatural component of God's provision in this, but purely at a sociological level. If you have two friends and one has a bad eye and one has a good eye, one is a generous, always sees the glass full kind of mentality, always generous with their time, and they seem to have that positive worldview. And you have the person that, like Donkey on on Winnie the Pooh. Oh no, oh dear, oh my, always it happens to me. Oh, everyone else falls on their feet, right? Even at a sociological level, you can see how that donkey perspective, that whinging perspective, is going to shrink that person's world, simply because people don't want to be around that person. If I have a choice of who I want to stay around, I'm going to be around the person that exudes life. Now, that makes that person attractive, which makes their world bigger, which makes more people come into their world, which ultimately will expand their world, and they'll receive the favor, and doors will open because of purely, even at a sociological, purely because people will say, hey, you need to meet with my friend Shannon. Look at him. He's always got positive about life. And if that's where most of your talk is, it will be attractive to people. So let alone the hand of God in it. It's just the way the world works, the way the universe is. So have that positive, faith-filled life. And if you haven't got that, start looking at yourself honestly, and maybe ask some people in your world who you trust and go, tell me, how can I change? What can I do to start to get a good eye?
Yep. It does come back to, we have to give this back to God.
Yes.
God knows what we need. We need to, and what we don't need, because sometimes it's about what we don't need as well.
Yep.
We need to trust God with our treasures, our worries, our judging.
Yep.
We need to leave this to Him.
Yep.
He is worthy to carry this.
Yep.
And sometimes we're not worthy of carrying all of those worries.
Correct.
That we're trying to carry.
And he wants to carry them for us.
Yes.
Because he says, he's going to say in the Sermon on the Mount, he cast your cares onto me because I care for you. Come to me, you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
Yeah.
Take my yoke on you. He wants to carry those burdens for us.
Yep.
But
so
we continue to carry them ourselves.
The good eye and the bad eye. Therefore, your body, your whole body needs to be full of light.
Yeah.
No part of it to be dark.
Absolutely.
And I love the image, the eye, just, because it says one eye. It's not eyes to start with. The eye is the lamp of the body. I'm like, oh, hang on. The eye, I got two eyes.
Totally.
But it's when the two eyes at that point are healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's when and healthy is translated to be generous. When your eyes are generous. So when you walk in the room and you go, I want the best for that person.
Yeah.
How can I help? How can I give? How can I be a blessing? When your eyes are healthy and you're seeing those opportunities, that's when your eye is good.
Yeah.
But when you walk in the room and you're going, how can I dodge everything? How can I get
out of this?
Here?
How can I keep for myself? How can I withhold out of fear? Oh, he's holding out on me. We're falling into the trap that caused human sin in the first place.
Yep. Based
around fear, ultimately. Yeah. And isn't it, it's funny, because maybe our listeners have heard this too. And, I've heard it quoted this way, that, Jesus is talking about how you can look in a person's eyes and you can see whether there's life in there or not. And while there's a truth in that, you can often see into a person's eyes and you can go, there's a sparkle in their eye. There's something about that. And it is true that, generally speaking, you can kind of see it, whether it's actually in their physical eyes or whether it's on their face, but there's a brightness and a lightness about people when they're that way. But I think it's more about what's coming out of them rather than what's going into them at that point.
Yeah, I travelled, it's 10 years ago now, or 10 years right now.
Right now, April, yes.
Yeah,
or May, yep.
I was overseas and we visited the Netherlands and we were walking through one of the streets and we were trying to find a hire car place, and it was on a main road, like a 6-lane highway, and there was a mansion, and in the Netherlands there's windows, and there was a window there, and there was she was in a bikini,
Right.
and we seen it. I was a bit shocked to see that's where there was it's main
It's all
road,
happening in the
6-lane
That's
highway
Holland for you back in those,
I'm
especially.
like, my gosh,
Goodness.
and this young lady, probably 21 years old, and sort of we were a bit shocked, but her eyes were her eyes would never
Lifeless.
leave me. Her eyes shocked me,
Yeah.
and
Because they had no life in
They
them.
had
were
no
dead.
life.
Yeah, I could imagine.
and her eyes basically said, "Are you the next person to hurt me?"
Yes.
And like the saddest eyes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so there is something in the eyes.
Oh, no doubt. And I'd say that
You know,
that was
and-
the cause. That was probably the root cause of what developed into this idiom.
Yeah.
Where, most of our metaphors and idioms that we use in life can be tracked to something physical. So,
Yep.
and I reckon that's what's going on, is that they had, by this time, they understood that there's light shining out of eyes. You read people by the
you
help
can
of
see,
their
yeah.
eyes and so on. So that's definitely there. And I think what the point we're probably trying to make is, while that's there, don't limit it to that, because the meaning by the time of Jesus, it was so much more than
It was-
just that. It was,
yes.
It's like you're saying, it became a metaphor for the things that you value, your view on life.
Yes, and it's the outlook of life now.
The outlook of life, yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing how many outlook, worldview, they're all visual idioms
Yes.
that we use here. So that shows us that we absorb what we see, the things we look at, the things we focus on. Focus is another word we use.
Yep.
That's a visual light. So many visual idioms that we focus on certain things. They become us. I'm focusing on fear. I will become a fearful, withholding, stingy person. I focus on the generosity of God. He's been good to me. And that becomes my language and my talk. It shapes my world. And that becomes the thing that shapes my generosity. And I guess in the same way that the downward spiral of, fear leads to stinginess, leads back to more fear and so on. I think the way out of it is generosity. The way out of it is to trust and go, this might be hard right now, but what I can do is I can actually start giving of something. Oh, I'm too busy, I'm too tired to go to church or whatever, or I just come to be fed on a Sunday. I can't benefit other people because I need to be there. But if you can break the back of that and go, actually, I am tired, I am weary, but I am going to, like you said, focus on goodness in other people. There are plenty of weeks when I come to church and I don't feel like it. I don't feel like giving. I feel like sitting in the front row and having someone else feed me. But I go, I'm going to put myself out for others because I believe God's given me something to bless other people. And it's an upward spiral.
Yeah, it is.
Very often I leave church more energized than when I walked in the door,
Yeah.
because I've allowed that upward spiral. I'm not perfect at it. None of us are, but that's that's how we switch from a bad eye to a good eye, I suppose.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. That's great.
All right, good conversation there. Let's believe that people will take that on board and become generous and see your bad eyes turn to good eyes. All right, folks, we will talk to you on, is tomorrow the last? It is.
It is
Last
tomorrow.
episode coming up, and then we're going to go home. We'll be out of here before 9 o'clock. All right, thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow.